Hello everyone, I am Karthik from IT section. Today my topic on concept video is about microservices, and let us know what are these microservices and how it works in and what are the benefits of these microservices briefly in our further slides. Let us dive into our topic and know what are these microservices briefly. Coming to the introduction, what are microservices? Microservices are an architectural and organizational approach to software development where the software is composed of small independent services that communicate over well-defined APIs. These services are owned by small, self-contained teams. Microservices architecture makes applications easier to scale and faster to develop, enabling enabling innovation and accelerating time to market for new features. So Microsoft are architectural and organizational approach to the software development. So the software is composed of small independent services that communicate over well-defined APIs. So these services are owned by small and self-contained teams. And also Microsoft microservices architecture make applications easier to scale and faster to develop, enabling innovation and accelerating time to market for new features. Microservices, also known as the microservice architecture, is an architectural style that structures an application as a collection of the services that are highly maintainable and testable, and loosely coupled and independently deployable, organized around business capabilities owned by a small team. The microservice architecture enables the rapid, frequent, and reliable delivery of large complex applications. It also enables an organization to evolve its technology stack. So the microservices are also known as the Microsoft microservice architecture. They are the architectural style that structures an application as a collection of the services that are. So they also collect the highly maintainable and testable and loosely coupled, and they are independently deployable, and they are organized around the business capabilities they are owned by a small team. These are the some Microsoft application services that are microservices that are maintained during the process. So we'll look at monolithic versus microservices architecture. With monolithic architectures, all processes are tightly coupled and run as a single service. This means that if one process of the application experiences a spike in demand, the entire architecture must be scaled. Adding or improving a monolithic application's features becomes more complex as the code base grows. This complexity limits experimentation and makes it difficult to implement new ideas. Monolithic architectures add risk for application survivability because many dependent and tightly coupled processes increase the impact of a single process failure. So, when looking at the monolithic architecture, they all are processes are the all the processes are tightly coupled in the monolithic architecture, and they run as a single service. This means that if one process of the application experiences a spike in demand, the entire the architecture must be scaled, or adding and improving a monolithic application features becomes more complex as the code base grows. So this complexity limits experimentation and it makes it difficult to implement new ideas. Monolithic architecture add a risk to application availability because many dependent and tightly coupled processes increase the impact of a single process failure. Coming to the microservice architecture, an application is built as independent components that run each application process as a service. This service communicate via a well-defined interface using lightweight APIs. Services are built for business capabilities, and each service performs a single function. Because they are independently run, and each service can be updated, deployed, and scaled to meet demand for the specific functions of an application. So, microservice architecture is an application built as the independent components, and they run each application process as a service. So this service communicate via a well-defined interface using a lightweight APIs, and service are built for business capabilities, and each service performs a single function. So, because they are independently run, each service can be updated, deployed, and scaled to meet the demand for specific function of an application. So, microservice is better than monolithic architecture. We can have a look on this picture where the monolithic is combined with the users, threads, and posts. So, coming to the microservices, it has a separately separated with the users have the separate service, and threads have the separate service, and the posts have the separate service. So we can deploy or develop or make changes independently according to the user service and the thread service, post service, whereas in monolithic we have to combinedly do the action if we have to do for we can't do it for a particular user or a thread or a post. We have to do for the whole process. This is about the monolithic and the microservices. So coming to the characteristics of the microservices, one among the characteristic is that autonomous. Each component service in a microservice architecture can be developed, deployed, operated, and scaled without affecting the functioning of the other services. Services do not need to share any of their code or implementation with other services. Any communication between the individual components happens via well-defined APIs. So, in the autonomous, each component service in a microservice architecture can be developed, deployed, operated, and scaled without affecting the functioning of other services. And services do not need to share of their code or implementation with the other service, as we discussed in the previous slides. Coming to the another characterization, that is specialized. So each service is designed for a set of capabilities and focuses on solving a specific problem. If developers contribute more code to a service over time and the broken service becomes complex, it can be broken into smaller pieces. Coming to the benefits of the microservices. Agility. Microservices foster an organization of small independent teams that take ownership of their services. Teams act within a small and well understood context and are empowered to work more independently and more quickly. This shortens development cycle times. You benefit significantly from the other aggregate throughout throughput of the organization. Flexible scaling. Microservices allow each service to be independently scaled to meet the demand for the application feature it supports. This enables teams to right-size infrastructure needs, accurately measure the cost of a feature that maintain availability if a service experiences a spike in demand. And easy deployment. Microservices enable continuous integration and continuous delivery, making it easy to try out a new ideas and to roll back if something doesn't work. The low cost of the failure enables experimentation and makes it easier to update code and accelerates the time to market for new features. Technological freedom. Service Microservices architecture don't follow a one-size-fits-all approach. Teams have the freedom to choose the best tool to solve their specific problems. As a consequence, teams building microservices can choose the best tool for each job. Reusable code. Dividing software into small, well-defined modules enables teams to use functions for multiple purposes. A service written for a certain function can be used as a building block for another feature. This allows an application to bootstrap of itself, and as developers can create a new capabilities without writing code from scratch. Resilience. Service independence increases application resistance to failure. In a monolithic architecture, if a single component fails, it can cause the entire applications to fail. With this microservices application, handle total service failure by degrading functionality and not crashing the entire application. These are about the microservices and its benefits and the characterizations. Thank you.